Surprise! Miss Gillian found a copy of the second edition of If the World Were a Village, so I figured I'd be your audiobook today. If the World Were a Village, a book about the world's people, written by David J. Smith and illustrated by Sheila Armstrong. Welcome to the global village. Earth is a crowded place. It is getting more crowded all the time. As of 2012, the world's population was around 7,050,000,000. 11 countries each have more than 100 million people. China has over 1,300,000,000, while India has more than 1,200,000,000 people. Numbers this big are hard to understand, but what if we imagine the whole population of the world as a village of just 100 people? In this imaginary village, each person would represent 70,500,000 from the real world. 100 people would fit nicely into a small village. By learning about the villagers, who they are, and how they live, perhaps we can find out more about our neighbors in the real world and the problems our planet may face in the future. Ready to enter the global village? Go down into the valley and walk through the gates. Dawn is chasing away the night shadows. The smell of wood smoke hangs in the air. A baby awakes and cries. Come and meet the people of the global village. Nationalities. The village stirs and comes to life, ready for a new day. Who are the people of the global village? Where do they come from? Of the 100 people in the global village, 60 are from Asia, 15 are from Africa, 11 are from Europe, 8 are from South America, Central America, and the Caribbean, including Mexico. 5 are from Canada and the United States. And 1 is from Oceania, an area that includes Australia, New Zealand, and the islands of the Southwest and Central Pacific. More than half the people in the global village come from the 6 most populated countries. 20 are from China, 17 are from India, 5 are from the United States, 4 are from Indonesia, 3 are from Brazil, and 3 are from Pakistan. Languages. Ni hao ma, hello, namaste, zdravstvuyte, hola, ahlan, namaskar. The villagers greet one another in a babble of tongues. What languages do the people of the global village speak? In the global village, there are almost 6,000 languages, but more than half of the people speak these 8 languages. 21 speak a Chinese dialect. Of these people, 16 speak the Mandarin dialect. 9 people speak Hindi. 9 speak English. 7 speak Spanish. 4 speak Bengali. 4 speak Arabic. 3 speak Portuguese. And 3 speak Russian. If you could say hello in these 8 languages, you could greet well over half the population in the village. Ages. A ball flies by and the children cheer. There are many children in the village. 1/5 of the villagers are 9 years of age or under. More than half are under 30. These are the ages of the villagers. 9 are children under 5. 10 are children between 5 and 9. 18 are between 10 and 19. 17 are between 20 and 29, 15 are between 30 and 39, 12 are between 40 and 49, 9 are between 50 and 59, 6 are between 60 and 69, 3 are between 70 and 79, and 1 is over 79. At the present rate of growth, the village will increase by 12 people every 10 years. That means that the village as a whole is slowly growing larger. However, many countries are actually getting smaller as their populations age. 100 years ago, in the village of 1900, there were about 5 children under the age of 5, 7 children between 5 and 9, and 32 between 10 and 19, for a total of 44 young people. Today, the total would be around 37 young people and under 20, but by 2050, there may only be 23. While the number of children in the global village is shrinking, the number of elderly is growing. 100 years ago, there were only 8 people over 65 in the village of that time, but by 2050, there may be as many as 16. Religions. A bell chimes in the church. A wooden gong sounds at a temple. A muezzin leads prayer from the minaret of the mosque. The villagers are called to worship. What religion do the people of the village follow? In the village of 100 people, 33 are Christians, 22 are Muslims, 15 are non-religious or atheist, 14 are Hindus, 9 practice shamanism or animism and other folk religions, 5 are Buddhists, 2 belong to other global religions such as Judaism, Confucianism, Shintoism, Sikhism, Jainism, or the Baha'i faith. There has been a big change for 2 of the groups. 100 years ago, there were 12 Muslims compared with 22 of today. There was only 1 person in the village who was non-religious rather than the 15 today. Food. The smells and sounds of the market draw you near. The tables are piled with fresh baked bread, vegetables, and tofu and rice. Chickens cluck and ducks quack. In a pen not far away, a cow moos at the passing crowd. The villagers have many animals. They help to produce food or are a source of food themselves. There are 31 sheep and goats, 23 cows, bulls and oxen, 15 pigs, 3 camels, 2 horses, 700 chickens. Yes, there are 7 times as many chickens as people in the global village. Besides the animals, there is other food in the global village: wheat and other grains, rice, beans, vegetables, and much more. All in all, there is no shortage of food. If all the food were divided equally, everyone would have enough to eat. But the food isn't divided equally. So although there is enough to feed the villagers, not everyone is well fed. 30 people in the village do not have a reliable source of food and are hungry, some or all of the time. 17 people are severely undernourished and are always hungry. So 47 of the people in the village do not have food security. That is, they cannot always be sure that they will have enough to eat. The other 53 villagers are food secure. They have enough food to survive and even thrive. Air and water. In most of the village, the air is healthy and the water is clean. But not all villagers are so fortunate. For some, the air and water are soured by pollution, putting them at risk for diseases, or water may be in short supply. Instead of turning on the tap, some villagers must walk a long distance to find clean water. Fresh air and drinkable water are necessities. How many people in the village of 100 have clean air and a nearby source of clean water? 87 have access to a source of safe water either in their homes or within a short distance, and the other 13 do not and must spend a large time of their day simply getting safe water. Most of the work of collecting the water is done by women and girls. 62 have access to adequate sanitation. They have public or household sewage disposal, while 38 do not. They are at risk of diseases caused by poor sanitation, such as parasites, infections, dysentery, cholera, and typhoid. 68 breathe clean air, while 32 breathe air that is unhealthy because of pollution. School and work. A bell calls the young people of the village to school, but for some children there is no school to go to, or they must work to help their family. How many people in the village of 100 go to school, and how many go to work? There are 36 school-aged villagers, aged 5 to 24, but only 30 of them attend school. There is one teacher for all of these students. The other 6 village children who could be in the school are working instead. 3 of them work around the house or for their family, on farms or in small businesses. The remaining 3 are child laborers. They work in fields, factories, and mines. They sell things on the streets, and they may even serve as child soldiers. Because not everyone in the village has gone to school, not everyone can read and write. In fact, of the 100 people old enough to read, 14 are illiterate, meaning they cannot read at all. More males are taught to read than females. There are 63 adults in the village who could have jobs, but only 52 of them are working. 6 people who want to work but can't find jobs, while another 5 are in school. There are also another 6 people who are retired, who do not wish to work, or who cannot work. Money and possessions. In one part of the village, someone buys a new car. In another, a man repairs the family's bicycle, their most valued possession. How much money do people in the global village have? If all of the money in the village were divided equally, each person would have about $10,300 per year. But in the global village, money isn't divided equally. The richest 10 people have nearly 85% of the world's wealth. Each has more than $87,500 a year. The poorest 10 people have less than $2 a day. The other 80 people have something in between. Half the people in the village average about $6 a day. The average cost of food, shelter, and other necessities in the village is more than $5,000 per year. Many people don't have enough money to meet these basic needs. What possessions do the villagers have in the village? In the village there are 50 radios, 45 televisions, 103 telephones, 86 of which are cell phones, 28 computers. There are also 2 trucks, 10 automobiles, and 20 bicycles. Energy. Dusk arrives and then darkness. In many homes, electric light spills out on the streets. In others, the dark is kept away with candles, oil lamps, and lanterns. How many people in the village of 100 have electricity? 76 have electricity. 24 do not. Of the 76 who have electricity, most use it only for the light at night. But some of the villagers have other energy needs. They need energy to manufacture, to transport goods, and themselves, and for other uses at home and at work. Long ago, wood was the #1 energy source for the global village, but today there are other sources. 73% of the village's energy comes from fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and gas, that have to be pumped or mined from the earth underground. 17% come from the nuclear power. 10% come from renewable sources, such as wind and water. Health. In 1850, a newborn in the village was only expected to live to age 38. By 1900, the life expectancy was 47. Today, a newborn can expect to live until 68, but that is just an average. Some of the villagers will live much longer, while others will have their lives shortened by diseases, malnutrition, accidents, lack of sanitation, and/or healthcare. One big problem in the global village is malaria. About 41 people live in areas where malaria is found, and 6 people in the village contract malaria each year. There are hopeful signs. For example, immunizations to prevent diseases are becoming more and more common. About 80 people in the village have received vaccinations against diphtheria, tetanus, and measles. Thanks to these vaccinations, they will have a chance at a longer, healthier life. The village, past, present, and future. Today, 100 people live in the global village. How many people lived there in the past? Around 1000 BC, only one person lived in the village. In 500 BC, 2 people lived in the village. In year 1, 3 people lived in the village. In year 1000, 5 people lived in the village. In year 1500, 8 people lived in the village. In year 1650, 10 people lived in the village. In year 1800, 17 people lived in the village. In year 1900, 32 people lived in the village. And in 2012, 100 people live in the village. What will our village be like in the future? How fast will it grow? Today we have a village of 100, and it is growing at a rate of 1.15 people per year. If there are 100 people in the year 2012, there will be more than 101 in 2013, and so on. Around the year 2150, there will be 250 people in the village. This is an important number because many experts think that 250 is the maximum number of people the village can sustain. And even then, there are many widespread shortages of food, shelter, and other resources. Fortunately, groups such as the United Nations and many governments and private organizations are working hard to make sure that the village of the future is a good home for all who live in it. Their goal is a global village in which food, shelter, and other necessities are basic rights for all. Alright guys, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed your surprise audiobook. Have a great Monday.